What we now call Ellis Library was constructed in 4 parts. The first part was completed in 1915, and that part of the building was dedicated in 1916. The 1915 library was quite small, and over the course of a century, it has been swallowed up by later additions. These additions have greatly increased the size of the library, but they have changed some of the library's most interesting features, both on the outside and on the inside as well. The architect was inspired by Trinity College Library, Cambridge, designed by Sir Christopher Wren. As you can see from this Christmas postcard, the library was intended to be built with a central portion flanked by an east and west wing. The middle part of the building looks as it does today, but the east and west wings, as designed, were never built. When the west wing was added in 1936, it was made taller and longer than the original plan. This floor plan shows the architect's original design. The yellow highlighted portion indicates that part of the library that was actually constructed. Although the building that was envisioned was not erected, the architect very cleverly designed a building that could be expanded with later additions. As built, the 1915 library consisted of a main building, a connecting hall, and book stacks. Book stacks at this time were closed and not open to browsing. The only side of the 1915 library that looks the same today is the north side, facing Lowry Mall. The west side of the main building was covered by the West Addition in 1936. The hallway was removed in 1958. The west side of the stacks were covered by the West Stacks in 1936. The south end of the stacks are visible from the second floor up, but the lower floors were covered by the South Addition in 1985. The east side of the book stacks, the hallway, and the east side of the main building were all covered up by the East Addition in 1958. The 1958 addition also covered all the windows on the south side of the main building. The facade is faced in Bedford limestone, and the architect considered the style English neoclassical. Form follows function in the design of the building. The 2-story windows give form and grace to the building, but also supply light to what we now call the Grand Reading Room, but in 1915 was called the General Reading Room. The architect cleverly designed the building so that the east and west sides could be added onto. He strategically placed windows at the end of the hallways that could be turned into doorways when the wings were constructed. Here is the hallway on the first floor. Here's the second floor hallway and the third floor hallway. To the left of the second floor hallway, you will notice a lintel, but not an opening for a window. This lintel is at the end of the general reading room and marks the spot where a door will be broken out when the wing is finally constructed. Beautiful ornamental doors were placed on the east and west ends of the general reading room, but these doors were not opened for decades until the wings were constructed and the bricks broken out. Because this wall was not intended to be permanent, it was going to be covered over by the addition of the west wing. It was faced in red brick. This view shows the hallway that connects the main building to the book stacks. On the first floor is the Art Seminary room. Above that is the delivery room. We would call this the circulation department. And on the third floor is the cataloging department. To the right of the hall are the book stacks. The book stacks have 6 floors and held about 200,000 books. The east and west sides of the book stacks, like the main library building, were designed to be added to. When the west stacks were erected in 1936, the outside windows of the central stacks became doorways. The rear or south side of the library is filled with windows. There are 3 distinct groups. On the left are large windows. On the first floor, they illuminate the women's coat room and restroom, and on the second and third floor, they provide light to the seminar rooms. To the right of them are the windows for the staircases. The windows are located at mid-floor, halfway up the stairs, and illuminate the stairs. The rounded windows on the third floor make it easy to identify the staircase windows. To the right is one large window. These windows lit up the exhibition hall on the first floor, the delivery room on the second, and the cataloging room on the third floor. Large windows fill the south end of the book stacks. Because that portion of the library was considered to be complete, it was faced in Bedford limestone. The east and west sides of the stacks were faced with white fire brick. The fire brick on the outside of the building only makes sense when you remember that the stacks were designed to be added to, and that an exterior wall would soon become an interior wall once the addition was erected. Here is a picture of the stacks being constructed. The white brick on the right side of the stack stands out clearly, and you can also see that the back is faced with limestone. The back of the main building has the same brownish brick that is used in the cross hall. To the left you can also see Jesse Hall in the background, and the building to the left of the stacks is the original Missouri bookstore. The east side of the building is a mirror image of the west. The windows are still there waiting to be turned into doorways as they were on the west. On the east side, however, they had to wait until 1958. Here's an aerial picture from about 1953 which shows the east side of the library. On the left, the central stacks with their white fire brick are easy to make out. The cross hall is to the right of it, and then the main building. The structures in the foreground are barracks or housing for GIs who have returned after the Second World War. If you like this video, check out the others on the interior of the 1915 library, on the general reading room, and on the building history of the library. They also have many wonderful pictures from university archives.